aspirants, in this video we will discuss about the previous year question papers which have appeared in the various competitive exams like teacher eligibility test, district selection committee, UGC NET. So the previous year questions have been picked up from the topic Child Development and Pedagogy. Now, why PYQs? PYQs will help you understand the examination pattern or real examination like environment, and you will be able to apply the knowledge which you have gained through your rigorous study, and you will be able to identify the weak areas in which you have to improve your efforts. And these solving PYQs will also give you a very good conceptual clarity as well as the revision of the content. By doing these PYQs, as an aspirant, your confidence will be elevated. So please practice PYQs for whatever competitive examinations you are preparing. Now coming to the question, while planning activities for an inclusive classroom, a teacher should have wide knowledge of which principle of growth and development. So whenever you are trying to solve any multiple choice questions, you need to understand what are the key thematic areas given in this question. So the first thematic area is here inclusive class, and in this inclusive class he is asking which knowledge or the principle of growth and development will be useful while planning the inclusive classroom. So you need to understand what is an inclusive classroom, as well as you should have a good thorough understanding of principles of growth and development. And the options given are sequential development, general to specific, individual differences, and interrelation of development aspects. Here you take 30 seconds of time and try to identify the correct answers. The correct answer for this question is, we need to take into consideration the individual differences. Why we need to take into consideration the individual differences? Each child has their own pace of development, and each individual has unique needs. And as you might be knowing, an inclusive classroom is a classroom which consists of diverse students who have different levels of understanding. Hence, we should take into consideration the individual differences and tailor the teaching learning process such that all the students will be included in the process of learning. So now let us understand what is an inclusive classroom. An inclusive classroom is a classroom which provides equal learning opportunities to all the students irrespective of their physical, mental, emotional and social differences. An inclusive classroom will also address the diverse needs of the children. So the teachers use differentiated instructions and varied teaching methods and include the children with learning disabilities as well. And the inclusive classroom will also provide a supportive environment to nurture the child with the qualities like mutual respect, empathy, collaboration among students, and creating a sense of belonging. And usually the inclusive classrooms will also use lot of assistive technologies like audiobooks, screen readers, sign language support, such that the individual needs of the children are supported. And usually inclusive classrooms will have a collaborative approach among students as well as teachers. So they will take up the general educators, special educators, counselors as well as parents into confidence for providing the supporting teaching learning environment to all the members in an inclusive classroom. Now coming to the principles of growth and development. So few of the principles of growth and development include: development is a continuous process. That is, we all know the famous quote, womb to tomb. So growth and development occurs throughout the life, starting from conception to the death. Next principle is follows a predictable pattern. Development proceeds in a fixed sequence. Example, head to toe, center to outwards. Head to toe is known as cephalocaudal, whereas center to outward is known as proximo-distal. So one has to be very thorough with these principles of growth and development. And usually many of the competitive exams will have at least one question from this principle of growth and development. And another principle of growth and development is individual differences exist among children because of the many factors, and few factors include hereditary and environment. And development is interrelated, that is, one has to be physically, mentally, emotional and social developments will influence each other for the overall development to happen in a child or a student. And usually the development happens from general to specific, that is, movements and developments and behaviors develop from broad uncontrolled action to more specific and controlled action. Once you get to know the principles of growth and development, the 5 points should flash in your mind. That is, development is continuous, follows a predictable pattern, individual differences exist, and development is interrelated. And the development proceeds from general to specific pattern. Now, coming to the next question, read the following statements. Maturation determines learning readiness. And the next statement is, forcing children to learn before maturity will not yield good results. So identify the correct answer. So among the two statements given, that is, maturation determines learning readiness and forcing children to learn before maturity will not yield good results. So the options are, only statement A is true, only statement B is true, both statements A and B are true, and statement A offers complete explanation for statement B. And the next option is, both statements A and B are true, but statement A does not explain statement B. Now take a few seconds of time and understand. First one, if you come across these type of questions, first you need to analyze each sentence separately. First, here we can come to a conclusion that both statement A and B are true, and statement A offers correct explanation to statement B. So as we have already learned that maturation is or sets the foundation for learning in a child. If a child is not developmentally ready, wants to make them learn forcefully, this will bound to be backfire. Now here in this question, the key concepts are maturation and learning readiness. Now let us try to revise what is maturation and what is learning readiness. So maturation is the natural growth and biological development of child that happens automatically with age. And in these maturations, the key points is, this maturation is an innate process, that is, it is inbuilt through genetic and biological factors and not on external teaching. And this is age related. For example, a child learns to walk or talk only when their body is mature enough. Similarly, maturation is the foundation for learning. Without proper maturation, learning cannot take place effectively. Independent of practice, maturation occurs even without specific training or instruction. And maturation supports skill acquisition like walking, speaking, holding a pencil, running, jumping, etc. So maturation, once anywhere, if you get the key point as maturation, you should remember that it is a natural process, it is a biological development, it happens automatically with age. And it is an innate process, it is age related, it is the foundation for learning, it is independent of practice, and it supports acquisition of various skills. And now let us see what is this learning readiness. We often come like that child is not ready to learn. But what is this learning readiness? Learning readiness means a child's preparedness to learn a new concept or skill. And this preparedness consists of mental, physical and emotional status. And in the learning readiness, we need to understand that learning readiness depends on maturation. It is aided by the surrounding environment like family, school, teacher, guidance, etc. And it is also specific to stage, like child has certain development stages, and like they learn simple concepts, then they move to complex, then they understand the interrelated concepts like that. So like that, these learning readiness is also stage specific. So while designing the various curriculums, we need to design based on their development stage. and their learning readiness in that particular age group. And this learning readiness has also influenced the learning speed. If a child is well prepared to learn, he will grasp the things very fastly and he will try to acquire those skills. And for this learning readiness, teacher and schools also plays a very important role, as teachers can understand the capabilities of individual children before introducing the new concepts learnings in the lessons. Next, let us look into the next question. The next question is, concept formation begins with sensation, language, reflex and thinking. So take few minutes of time and try to answer this question. You can pause this video for a while, maybe about 30 seconds, and try to identify the correct answer. Here the key word is the concept formation. Whether sensation is important or the first step, language is first step, or reflex is first step, or thinking is first step. That is the question which is being asked here. Now the correct answer for this question is sensation. Sensation is the foundation through which the concept formation begins. Now sensation is the initial response to any stimulus given to an individual, and this is laying the groundwork for perception, and eventually concept is formed in the minds of the individuals. Now let us look into what are the various stages of concept formation. Stage 1 is sensory experience. These sensory experiences are learned through seeing, touching, hearing, when the children encounter the various objects and events which form the basis of a concept. Example, a child sees different types of dogs and begin to notice common features like 4 legs, fur, barking, etc. And the second stage of concept formation is observation and classification. Once the child come to the basic concepts, he tries to observe and classify the information into what are the similarities and what are the differences, and they try to classify. And the third stage is generalization. In this stage of generalization, the children try to apply the concept they have learned to similar instances which are beyond their initial experiences, and they learn to recognize a broad range of examples of the concept. And stage 4 is a refinement or the abstract stage. Children refine their concept by recognizing exceptions or specific variations. They move from simple recognition to understand abstract properties of the concept. Example, the child learns that some dogs can be different in size or color but are still considered dogs. And the fifth stage is the conceptual understanding. At this final stage, children gain a full understanding of the concepts, which include the ability to articulate and apply to new situations or problem. Example is, the child can now explain the concept of a dog and distinguish it from other animals like cats, cows by describing the characteristics. So whenever you get a question on the concept formation, immediately the 5 stages of the concept formation should come into your mind. So you have to make a short note. Stages of concept formation: stage 1, sensory experience; stage 2, observation and classification; stage 3, generalization; stage 4, refinement; stage 5, conceptual understanding. And you try to revise these things as many times as possible, because these are the themes which have been repeated across various PYQs but in a different concepts. If you have clarity in these concepts, you can address any type of questions which can be given in the examination. Now let us move into the next question. The next question is of a different pattern. It is something like a match the following and identify the correct pair related to the development tasks. And in this question, the theme is development task. So you need to be thorough with this concept of development tasks. A. Early childhood, planning for retirement. Later childhood, begin to categorize playthings based on physical similarities. Option C. Infancy, moral reasoning. D. Adolescence, teething. For example, if you are addressing these type of PYQs, here we should be able to filter out few options. Definitely infancy, moral reasoning, we know that an infant cannot understand what is good, what is bad. So definitely this is not a correct option. So we can eliminate option C. Next option is adolescence and teething. Everyone knows that teething happens in during initial 1 to 2 years. So definitely option C is not correct answer, and option D is also not correct answer. Now we should be able to figure out from option A and B. And early childhood, how can they plan about retirement? So option A is also not the correct answer. So the answer for this question is B. Later childhood, begin to categorize playthings based upon physical similarities. Now let us try to understand what are these development tasks. As children enter later childhood, they develop classification skills based on observational attitudes. Now development tasks has certain age related challenges. Development tasks are tied to specific age groups like infancy, childhood, adolescence, adulthood, and old age. Each stage has its own tasks that help shape a person's physical, emotional, social, and intellectual growth. And development tasks are necessary for growth. Successfully completing these tasks helps individual move forward in their life, promoting overall well-being and preparing them for challenges in future. And development challenges have a relationship with the environment. These tasks are shaped by both biological factors such as maturation and social expectations like cultural norms, family, school, etc. And development tasks are unique to individual, that is individual differences do exist based upon their family background, education, and culture, and these development tasks will have an impact on the life satisfaction as well. Successfully completing the development task enhances life satisfaction and emotional well-being. Failure to achieve them may lead to emotional or social difficulties. Now let us see what are the development tasks in different age group. This is the question which is being asked. Like during infancy, what are the development tasks? During childhood, adolescence, young adulthood, mid adulthood, and late adulthood. You can make a short notes from this slide and revise very thoroughly, because this is also one of the important thematic areas. Sometimes they will ask, arrange the stages in a proper manner, like infancy, childhood, adolescent, young adulthood, middle adulthood, and late adulthood. So I will be sharing you the PPT in my Telegram channel. You can download this PPT from the Telegram channel and make a short notes if you want to make so. So these are the development tasks during infancy, childhood, adolescence, young adulthood, middle and late adulthood. Now coming to the next question, Srishti names her doll and involves it in activities like sleeping. According to Piaget, she is in which stage? So here the key question is, what are the different stages proposed by Piaget? So we need to have a thorough understanding of the various stages and what are the activities according to each stage. The options given are sensory motor stage, concrete operational stage, preconceptional phase, and formal operational stage. Take 30 seconds of time and pause your video and try to answer this question. The correct answer for this question is preconceptual phase. At this stage, the child involves himself or herself in symbolic play and egocentrism, which is typical in the age group of 2 and 4. Now let us look at the summary of the various stages proposed by Piaget. The first is sensory motor stage from 0 to 2 years, pre-operational stage from 2 to 7 years, concrete operational stage is from 7 to 11 years, and formal operation stage is from 12 plus years. And during the sensory motor stage, the individuals learn through sensory and motor experiences. And during pre-operational stage, they learn through symbolic thinking, language development, and egocentrism. And in concrete operational stage, they develop logical thinking and concrete objects and event. And in the formal operational stage, 12 plus years, they develop abstract thinking, hypothetical reasoning, and systematic problem solving. And myself, Dr. Padmaja Kulan, presently doing my ICSSR postdoctoral fellowship, and I am trying to do my work by helping the aspirants crack the competitive examinations. If you like the explanation and want to be updated, please subscribe to my channel, and you can follow me on YouTube and Instagram with the handles Dr. KPR Study. Hope you enjoyed learning through this session. Thank you very much and wishing you all the very best.